There's no Grand Reserva, Native9, and a series of an appellation. It's just one wine from the same place, made in the same style. And so what I have today is, to me, it was we keep kind of showing the same set, because the goal was to hang on to wines, have them available in our cellars, so that when people came to visit us, that I could offer them the same thing that taught me so much about my visits in Burgundy. And it's not that I'm a Francophile, it's that the experience there was so cool, because those wines were already sold out. They didn't need, in fact, they didn't have any wine for me to buy, period. DRC's already sold long before it's made or put into a bottle, as is Dujac. But they wanted to accept the people who came to visit, take the time, most cases hours, to step through this whole process and explain why they do what they do, and ultimately let you try not only what's in the barrel, but in both places. I got asked, so I had a little help from some friends who let them know before I got there. So, what's your birth vintage? And they'd go pull out a bottle from my birth vintage. And the experience was so special that I thought, this is the kind of hospitality that I hoped someday create. And you can't do that immediately. It takes time, and it takes a library of wines. So you guys, in a lot of regards, there has been no tasting opportunity for Native9 really until West started a year ago. The goal was, we'll keep making wine, we'll build our library, and someday we'll offer this. And so, thank you for coming out today, because this is really, the first kind of opening of these doors in 20 years. And it's not because we couldn't have sold the wines. We have distribution all over the country and in Asia and Europe. But we would sell just enough wine to keep the lights on and try to build the library so that we could do this for the future. And a big part of that was taught to me by Jim Clendenin and Bob Lindquist, who I had the pleasure of working with at their respective Obol Coupe wineries. And I remember thinking, so why all the old wine? And they never really were so explicit in explaining it, but you would see it in that when you sat down for lunch, here's this huge depth of their history. And that's the story that to me is worth telling, is for me to share with you our most current vintage. I don't even want to talk about the most current vintage. It's meaningless. It's having a conversation with an infant. The goal is to recognize, is this infant healthy? Or, can we lay them down and go enjoy life and come back in a bit? And so, that's why, again, the approach. So 2012.